Hi, everybody. Well, I kind of got a laugh out of this story a little bit because she was pretty lighthearted about it. But this lady went on Virgin Cruise Lines and she went to have her birthday dinner at Test Kitchen, one of the premier dining spots on Virgin Cruise Lines. And she says she was absolutely shocked at the dinner and kind of disappointed in it. So much so that she kind of thought she was being punked. So, in case you don't know, Test Kitchen on board Virgin Cruise Line is a 5-course meal, but it's a tasting plate menu. Now, when you hear tasting plate, you should immediately think it is, small plates, small portions, right? I've been to a few tasting restaurants here in Ottawa and on cruise ship. Definitely small portions. That's why you order more. But obviously this is a set menu for a set, itinerary. Well, she went to dinner and she didn't look at any reviews of the of the Test Kitchen or anything. And one of the things that they delivered to her was this dome that's all filled with smoke in it. And they set the plate down and then they lift the smoke and go, ooh. And in this middle of this giant plate, it looks like just a little pile of peas. Now, apparently there's peas and egg and something else in there, but it's like tiny, tiny, tiny. And she just kind of like, what? What's going on? Is this my meal? Is this my full meal? And she even tells the person that she's filming it with to turn off the camera because she's breaking down laughing. And she posted this on her channel, and then she had to come on and clarify because a lot of people said, well, the tasting kitchen is a small plate. You should have done your research and blah, blah, blah. And she fully admits right away, she says the food was good. The food for the Test Kitchen was good. It just was a little tiny bits of food, so much so that they had to go for food afterwards. And, a lot of people just went on and said, well, you should have done your research and everything. And yeah, that's a kind of a thing, folks. Researching is a good idea, especially if you're planning your birthday cruise or an anniversary dinner or something. You want to go to something special, research the restaurants that you want to try. Because, and she fully admits she didn't do any of that, but she will in the future. She's very lighthearted about it. I thought she was pretty good. But it just brought me to a situation that I kind of think of myself, because when I go, when I'm covering cruise ships and everything, I like to try the different specialty restaurants and see which ones are good and everything. And I was really excited when I first went on my very first Royal Caribbean cruise that had Wonderland. And it's the Alice in Wonderland fantasy theme, and it's supposed to be all this, new age food and experimental food and everything. And I was, this is going to be right up my alley. I'm a foodie. I'm really into this. And my very first experience that I went was, let me just say, bad. First off, the server didn't know the story, didn't try and do any of the Alice in Wonderland, didn't talk me through the food or anything like that, like they normally try and do. I've been there many times since. And she just didn't know what she was doing. Even they give you this paintbrush that you're supposed to wet, and then you scroll down the menu and it reveals the menu on there. It didn't work. I couldn't read a thing. And then the food itself, where you would get something like a clear test tube with a liquid in it. And what's that? That's a serving. That's a serving, by the way. And I would try it, and basically it's clear tomato juice. That's all it is, clear tomato juice. But that's my serving. I got tomato juice as a serving as a meal. And then they have things like the bird nest that you can eat with really experimental food. But as I look back at it, even being a foodie and everything, like the food isn't horrible. It's just not my kind of dining. Wonderland is probably my least favorite restaurant on board Royal Caribbean. Compare that to, Izumi and things like that, even Park Place. And I much prefer many of the other dining venues on board, because I find the experimental food that they're giving us is just kind of okay. Hey, I had clear tomato juice. Great. So what? Kind of thing, right? It's not my favorite at all. And just for fun, I brought other people to the dining venue when I went on board. I brought my nephews on board, and we tried Wonderland, and they agreed. We had 5 different specialty restaurants on board that sailing, and I asked them which one was their favorite, which one was their least favorite, and their least favorite, they all said, was Wonderland. But you have to know what Wonderland is. You got to know and experiment with what it is. It's not a tasting plate sort of thing, but it's experimental, which means they're going to try different things. It's not going to look like the food it doesn't look like tomato juice. It looks like something else. And that's what Wonderland does. Now, to be fair, when I brought my niece and my nephews on board, the servers were much better. They were playing their characters. They were doing what they were supposed to do. And the menu worked when we wet it and scrolled down so we could actually see it. So all that makes a big, big difference. All that to be said, that it doesn't hurt to try things, right? It doesn't hurt to try and experiment things and go in blind. Just don't go in and then say, ugh, well, this is the worst restaurant I've ever eaten at, and blah, blah, blah. Then no, if you're a picky eater, these kind of things can really be a downfall, right? Or if you're used to going to all-you-can-eat buffets, and then you go to a test kitchen, well, you're going to be sorely disappointed in the portion sizes as well, right? And so just do a little bit of research on your dining venues, especially as food is important to you. Food is probably, other than the cleanliness of the ship, food is probably number 1 on everybody's mind when they take a cruise. Is the food any good? And if you're paying extra for something like Wonderland or a specialty restaurant or a chef's table, maybe, just maybe, do a little research to make sure you know what you're getting into before you go. And it might just ease the disappointment like this lady had with Test Kitchen.